Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you are new. My name is Kirsti, and in today's video, I am bringing you two more 5-ingredient recipes. The first recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you is a 5-ingredient Swedish meatballs. For these Swedish meatballs, all you're going to need is, of course, some meatballs. You can make these homemade if you want to. I just find it easier just to get the frozen ones over in the frozen section at the grocery store. These are already fully cooked. I'm probably not going to be doing this whole entire bag, maybe about half, maybe a little bit more. But if you have a really big family, I would go ahead and use the whole bag. I'm going to use 2 cans of this cream of mushroom soup. We're going to use 1 can of mushrooms. If you don't like canned mushrooms, you can always just use fresh mushrooms. We're going to use some of this ranch seasoning and some pasta. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want, whatever is your favorite. I am going to be cooking my meatballs in the oven before putting them in like the sauce and the pasta. And that's only because I don't want my meatballs to be mushy. So I'm just going to put them here on this baking sheet. And I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. That is just what it says on the back of the meatball package. And we're going to bake these for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until they kind of get a little brown on the outside. Now that the meatballs are in the oven, I'm just going to take my big pot here and I'm going to fill it up with some water. That way we can get it boiling for the pasta. Now that we have the meatballs in the oven and we have the water on the stove to boil, we're going to go ahead and add in our 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup to this pan. And then we're going to add 1 of these cans and we're going to fill it with water. Going to add in our 1 can of mushrooms. And I'm just going to kind of try and stir it up a little bit, just to get that water incorporated with that cream of mushroom soup. I'm going to add in some of this ranch seasoning. The recipe calls for a package of this. So if you get like the little packages at the store, you just add that whole thing. Or you can add about 3 tablespoons. I'm also going to add in some of this garlic and pepper seasoning. You don't have to add this if you don't want to, but this is my favorite seasoning right now, so I'm going to be using it. And I'm not counting it as an ingredient just because it's not necessary for this recipe. But like I said, it's my favorite. I got all those seasonings stirred in, so I have this on a medium heat. And we're just going to let this sit here and simmer, and then once those meatballs are done, we're going to take those out and put them in the sauce. And there we have our 5-ingredient Swedish meatballs. Those Swedish meatballs were so good. The only thing that I would maybe change about it is maybe next time look for like a low sodium cream of mushroom, just because I did feel like it was a tad salty. But other than that, it was great. Our second 5-ingredient meal is a Hobo Stew. The 5 ingredients you're going to need for this meal is you're going to need about 3 to 4 potatoes, 1 onion, a 28-ounce can of maple cured baked beans, maple cured bacon baked beans. You're going to need some ketchup and some ground beef. Now the first thing I'm going to do is start chopping up or dicing up the potatoes. Just because I want those to kind of be like fried potatoes so they have a little bit of crisp on them. So I want to go ahead and get those cooking first. I went ahead and put some butter in the bottom of this skillet. That way it can be melting. And now we're going to go ahead and put in our potatoes. And we're just going to fry those up like you would fried potatoes. To my second pan, I'm just going to add in my ground beef. And we're going to brown that up. And after it's probably about halfway brown, we're going to add in one diced onion. My ground beef has quite a bit of extra grease in it, so I'm going to go ahead and drain that before I add in the onions. And now I'm just going to let these onions saute in here with the ground beef until they're done and translucent. Our potatoes are done, pretty much, and so my beef is ready, my onions are translucent, so I'm going to go ahead and add the beef and onions to the pan with the potatoes. We're going to add in half a cup of ketchup. And our can of beans. And we're just going to stir that all together and let it simmer. And if you wanted to add some seasoning to this, go right ahead. I think some salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of garlic would be really good in this. And that is our 5-ingredient hobo stew. Now, this may not be the prettiest of meals, but we did give it a taste test and it is really good. It makes me think of something that I would like to make, like going camping when it's kind of chilly outside, because it's really hearty and it would be hot and it would be so good. So I definitely recommend that y'all give this one a try. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen today. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and let me know down in the comments if you have any 5-ingredient recipes that you and your family love. Bye!